It's Valerie again. I wanted to say something about what is a neurotypical partner advocate. So, that is a term that I made up because of the work that I do, and also because of my personal life. So, let's just break down those words. Neurotypical, it describes kind of a standard way of interpreting the world where there's emotional and social reciprocity and sort of an inbred, that's not quite right. It's just what's been around, I think, what has been considered normal, which is picking up on social cues, being able to feel what someone else might be feeling, or understanding, reading a room, so to speak, putting yourself in someone else's shoes, having neurotypical. The way that people are expected to behave or think or interpret things. So, yes, neurotypical. Now, partner would be someone who's in a long-term relationship with someone who is not neurotypical. So, the opposite of neurotypical is more neurodiverse, which means that there's a certain capacity that someone has to experience the world differently than a neurotypical person might. An advocate is someone who goes to bat for someone else, either an individual or a group. Yes, I have a kitten and she's awake. Uh-oh, no, you can't climb up my back. Yeah, this is my life right now. Okay, here she is. So she really just wants to sit on my lap, right? So maybe she can sit on my lap, sitting here doing this video. How did I come to understand this neurotypical partner phenomenon is I have a private practice doing psychotherapy for women, and I started noticing patterns within the group of women that I work with. Some of them were in a lot of distress in their relationships, their primary relationship, and it started to present itself as they really couldn't stop talking about their husband. And we never could really get to the work that they thought they were coming to do, which was their own work, individual work. So I work with individual women, usually more mature women, and noticing developmental trauma in them, or how to heal from neglect emotionally in their childhoods or in their adult life. But mostly what's untapped or unmined are those things that become part of our nervous system. And so what I started noticing with these women is they could not focus on themselves. Their conversations would always be linked to their conversation in our work, and their experience in our work could not be separated from their spouse or their husband, in my case with my demographic. And it was something that I noticed because in reading a book to help someone with, back in the day, Asperger's syndrome, I noticed some patterns in my own second marriage. And I started linking these things together personally. And in fact, the neurotypical partner affinity for what I saw in common in the women was what I was looking into in my PhD work. So I'm a PhD dropout. I might go public with that. I think that'd be a cool hashtag. So basically, these women were in a lot of distress, and it seemed to center around their primary relationship with their long-standing husband, spouse. And every time I would talk to someone about the work that I was doing with these women, they always wanted to talk about the neurodiverse spouse who had been incompletely or not at all diagnosed. So a lot of these men had no idea that they carried these neurodiverse traits. And so anyway, it was very curious to me. What was it about my experience? What was it about my history that attracted me to and married two men with autism traits? I mean, they don't know it. And never would look at themselves, which is a trait of autism. Usually there's not very much interest in self-awareness. And so I wanted to help these women. There's no way to help these women without noticing what's going on in their daily life, because they're in a lot of distress. They might be having health issues that are strange to the doctors, like there's nothing that makes sense. And they notice some of these traits in their children. And they might even have a diagnosed child or adult child with autism or Asperger's back in the day. So there's a development of diagnoses in the culture as well. So there's more to that. But I just wanted to share what I consider a neurotypical partner advocate. And a big problem in the culture is that doctors, educators, even mental health professionals have not been trained in identifying neurodiversity most of the time. And if they don't know that, they can't help the neurotypical partner, which would be me, which has been me. I could tell you that story for another day. So this is a phenomenon that has been developing over time. I always hesitated to talk about it. It was a portion of my clinical population, I guess, my counseling group of clients. But what I noticed was it was really hard for people to focus on the neurotypical partner. And so I want to get this out to the world because she might look a little neurotic. She might have some ways of trying to handle all of this that other people in her world don't understand. Any community group she's a part of, they see her as being like really capable, and she is. And it's something that unless you see what's in the background operating, it's like not knowing what operating system you're working with. Like, what operating system is on this computer? If you don't know that, you're going to keep giving suggestions that won't stick, or you're going to blame her. So she's been blamed because her partner doesn't understand, and so she expects him to be neurotypical. Well, that doesn't set up for the dynamic to be in reality with these relationships, and nobody benefits when the autism is undetected. So there's a whole way I work with her, but for the purposes of this video, I just wanted to point out what I consider a neurotypical partner advocate. And now my kitten is sleeping on my lap. Anytime I sit down, she wants to sit on my lap, sleep on my lap. So, with questions, please let me know. Valerie at beyondbeautiful.net, or my phone 719-598-7800. Let me know if you have questions. All right. Thank you. Bye.